Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hello. I hope and expect that you are well. And now I like to give another lecture of the lion and the jewel. By this time I have given the lectures, two lectures most probably, or three lectures about the drama Lion and the Jewel written by Wale Soyinka. Wale Soyinka was born in western Nigeria, and he wrote a lot of novels, dramas, stories. But this drama, The Lion and the Jewel, though it is a comedy, but through this comedy he actually tried to show the real picture of Nigerian culture, Nigerian tradition, Nigerian image, Nigerian people's activities, everything. The last lecture I have given some suggestion to you after completing the lecture. And I suggested you to make a good preparation or to make a note the question, what pictures of African society do you get in The Lion and the Jewel? How realistically does Soyinka portray African society in his play The Lion and the Jewel? Or describe the culture, tradition of the African society in his famous plays? I think you have made a preparation or made a note. But I like to make it easy to you. For this reason, I like to deliver a lecture about the question. You can see here The Lion and the Jewel. Students of Depth of English, Honours second year. The Lion and the Jewel, the theme of African society. Very interesting, African society. So, what are the elements are found in African society which actually made Wale Soyinka famous in this world? The Lion and the Jewel is one of the most popular and best known plays of Wale Soyinka. In the play, he actually beautifully and very nicely describes or depicts the tradition, the culture, the customs, and the activities of the society of Africa. Africa is a rich country, especially in natural resource, but Africa was dominated by the British, and the culture of Africa was not famous to us before writing these kinds of writers, especially Wale Soyinka, who actually was awarded Nobel Prize. In Africa, different type of cultures are found, and very interesting culture, very wonderful cultures. Polygamous society, the bride price, the wedding system of Africa, the activities, the living standard of professional dramatists, and the practice of humor importance are faithfully, nicely, and successfully our famous writer Wale Soyinka portrayed in this play, The Lion and the Jewel. Number 3, wedding system in Africa. Wedding system. Wedding system in African society. Very interesting. It is another tradition. It is another tradition which is mentioned in the play written by Wale Soyinka, The Lion and the Jewel. It is the tradition mainly the Urba race. You know, Wale Soyinka was born in Urba race, in Urba culture, Urba tradition. So in Urba tradition, before marriage, the bride packs piled up everything, her clothes, her trinkles, her wiles, everything. What she needs, her cosmetics, her dress, everything she piled. Then she goes to the bridegroom's house. Very interesting. In African society, especially in Urba race, Urba culture, a marriageable girl, when she wants to marry, and it was fixed, she piled up or she packed everything what he needs in married time, like clothes, dress, like cosmetics, like wiles, like trunks, like etc. everything. She piled up and goes to the bridegroom's house with everything, and the band party follows her. So a group of musicians and dancers of the villagers of the village follows her and went or goes normally to the bride house. The marriage has many ceremonies. So Soyinka narrates the decoration of the bride. Soyinka really tried to show the original picture, the picture of African society through his novel, The Lion and the Jewel. She is radiant, she is jeweled, but what that means, she wore everything. She wears normally the jeweled, the other important things, articles, necessary dresses. So she is radiant, jeweled, lightly clothed, and wears lightly the song, sandals, etc. etc. These words show that the ceremony of marriage is very colorful. So ultimately, in African society, this kind of marriage is very colorful to everyone, to the people of Africa. And the African people enjoy their marriage ceremony, their marriage at the time of their marriage. Very interestingly, they dance, they sing, and they show their activity, etc. etc. So it is very, it looks very festive. It is a festive and mirthful with songs and dance. So very nice, very attractive to them. Wedding system is one of the interesting part of this book, Lion, that is drama, Lion and the Jewel. Next number, professional dramatists. Professional dramas. DRUMMATIST. Yes, dramas. Dramas, do you know? Dhuli, dhuli. Dhuli. Professional dramas is one of the important part and very interesting point of African society at the time of marriage. In the place Soyinka points out, very interestingly, points out the traditional practice of professional dramas. These kinds of people who actually try to show and to make the enjoyment to the people or the audience or the guests about their earning and livelihood. But these kinds of people, they live by using their musical instruments, and sometimes they use these kinds of instruments and they dance, they sing, and by using these kinds of instruments and their physical activities, they earn their livelihood. This is their main earning source. So, this is one of the important points of African society. So, we can say, according to the tradition and culture of African society, it is very important. When a person's praise is sung, it means when the dramatist or singer praises someone by using their instruments and also they are singing, this man normally is treated or considered as a rich man, is a moneyed man. And ultimately, he is bound to give some money to the dramatist or the singer. And if one is not ready to give money to them, he will, it considered as an act of belittling one's image in the society. So here, Wale Soyinka very nicely presents the real culture of Africa through the activities of professional dramas or musicians or singers. And not only this, in our country normally we can say, in our country, suppose a singer is singing using some praising words of a leader, of a high profile man or lady or anyone. Ultimately, that man or lady or leader or the chief guest is bound to, is ready to give some honor to the singers and the musicians. It is normal courtesy in our country, but in African country it is bound that leader, that the praised man is or lady is bound to give honor by giving money or any kinds of other resources. So, professional dramas here, Wale Soyinka very nicely presented their activities. In the play you say, Lakunal, who actually loved Sidi very much and he wanted to Sidi to marry, but though he was an educated, Western educated man, he was a modern man, and he was young, smart and energetic, and he wanted to change the African society through his activities, but he failed. Because Sadi was born in that country, though she was not educated. For this reason, she follows all the rules, regulations, customs, systems and tradition of Africa. For this reason, Lakunel does not want to give money for the singers in the party. But though Sadiku was the first wife of Baroka. Sadiku was the first wife of Baroka. In African society, another interesting point is there. The first, when any husband wishes to marry a girl, the first wife normally goes to that house and try to control, try to persuade that girl to be the wife of her husband. Very interesting. Very another important points of African society. So Sadiku also gives them some money, taking from his pocket. Baruka already has given money. So Baruka here showed the originality, the tradition, the customs and the criteria of Africa. For this reason, though Baruka was 62 years old and he has a lot of wives, but Sidi agrees to marry Baruka as a last wife. Though you know Baruka's last wife was Athena, and when Sidi married Baruka, the last wife. Here is another important point I have given you, that if Wale dies, ultimately the first son, the eldest son of the family, marries the last wife of his father. That is, the Wale, the first Wale, marries the last step mother. Very short in our country. We don't like these kinds of criteria, but in African country it is very easy. And the last one I like to deliver you with a view to you, that is rumored importance. Rumor. I think you know very well rumor. Rumored importance. IMPORTENCE. Importance. The last point. Rumored importance. The last point in African society, that is portrayed by Wale Soyinka very nicely. So it is another. Rumored importance is another urban tradition of the professional dramatists about their earning, tradition mentioned in the play The Lion and the Jewel. It is another important point. And African tradition, African cultural activities, that is rumored importance. Wale Soyinka very nicely presented here. The Lion and the Jewel. When the marriage proposal of any ballet is rejected by any ballet, she spreads normally rumor that he has become important. Understand? So here we have seen, when the marriage of Baruka is rejected, the proposal of Baruka is a 62 years old man and he had a lot of wives in his family, in his harem. A lot of members are in the family. So Sidi normally did not like it, but Baruka proposed to marry Sidi. And Baruka is rejected by Sidi. When the proposal is proposed by someone or his first wife Sadiku, Sidi refused it. And not only this, he spreads a rumor that he has become important. And thinking to be really important, see, the goes to mock him, to try him. Either he is important or not, either he is fit or not. So it is one of the important, very nested idea, nested criteria or tradition of African society. See, the goes to mock him and is seduced by him. Such a mood of seduction is very common in Urba. And these kinds of seduction, persuasion are common in African Urba society. But in our society, it is blasphemy. We don't like these kinds of tradition, these kinds of activities. It is shameful. But in African society, it is common, it is normal, it is natural to them. So, professional dramas is another point of Urba. And not only this, the rumor importance is last points of this Lion on the Jewel, and it is important, I think. Thus, Wale Soyinka successfully presents African tradition, culture, the flavor of rural and real life in his famous play, The Lion and the Jewel, through the real characterizations. And the characters you have seen here now, number 1, Sidi, Baroka, Lakunel, and minor character is Sabi. But through these 4 characters, actually, Wale Soyinka try to describes the real picture of African society. So, we can say in a word that Wale Soyinka actually rightly presented or presents through his famous drama, The Lion and the Jewel, the African society or the culture, the tradition and the customs, the belief of Africa in his famous play, The Lion and the Jewel. Thank you all, my dear students. I think you can make another question, very important. Anti-colonial nationalist writing, Mr. Wale Soyinka. Anti-colonial nationalist writing. What you can make a note of. Conflict of values. Conflict of values does Soyinka present? Present between Baroka and Lakunel. Very interesting question. Most probably it has come in 16. Wale Soyinka present between BETWWN, between Baroka and Baroka and Lakunel. Oh, sorry. LAKU, oh, sorry, right. Lacuna. Lacuna. Babar ভুল করতেছি কেন? Lacunel, MEL. This is important. 16 সালে এটা এসেছে। You can make a note. 2 characters. You can find in your book, please. Make a note and it will be very useful to you. Thank you all, my dear students. And next time, most probably the second year students, I have completed my syllabus. And next time, if any problems, please call me and I shall try my level best to solve all kinds of question answer. Okay? Thank you all.